Everybody says don't put meat in your compost. But David the Good looked me dead in the eye and said, I do it all the time. And that wasn't even the craziest thing he's composted. So today I was out at the Farmhouse Fair in Milton, Florida, and I ran into David the Good. And like always, we didn't exactly behave ourselves. We started talking gardening, and then somehow we ended up talking about composting things that most people would not put in a compost pile. Now every time David and I get together, it turns into part conversation, part experiment, and part, should we really be saying this out loud? But that's also what I appreciate about him. He's willing to try things most of us wouldn't even consider. And sometimes that's exactly where you learn the most. So while I was there, I asked him a few questions, the kind that make you stop and rethink how you're gardening. And his answers, well, let's just say they followed me all the way back home. And now I'm standing out here looking at my own compost thinking, all right, do I need to rethink this? If you enjoy real conversations like this, no perfection, just progress, go ahead and subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments, what's the strangest thing you've ever composted? All right, let me show you what happened out there. So I got dressed for the occasion here.
That's good.
I always wanted one of your shirts. You're dressed for the occasion.
I have the tackiest Hawaiian shirt I could find.
It fits. I love it. I love it. Well, I have two questions for you, man.
Yes.
You ready for this? So
sure.
The first question, what is one rule that everybody believes that you've broken broken and works anyway? And you're the guy to ask this to.
Don't put meat in the compost.
Don't put meat in the compost.
Don't put meat in your compost pile. I've broken that rule over and over again. It works great.
Really?
Oh yeah. You think about how much nutrition is in meat, okay? So you got an animal that's grazing over an acre or two. It's concentrating all of that. For us, it's mostly cellulose, you know, it's like, it's mass that a lot of it is not what we could digest, but it grazes all and concentrates all of this mineral, all of this protein and everything. And then they're like, don't throw that in the compost pile.
Now, is it cooked or uncooked?
Doesn't matter. Okay, so I've buried a dead animal in the ground, planted a tree over it. The tree grows huge, right? Weedy
plants his trees on top of Weedy
garden, yeah.
Plants it on top of dead roadkill wallabies.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. It works. It'll feed it forever.
He swears by it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that really ruins my second question.
Oh, shoot.
The second question, outside of meat, what's the weirdest thing you've ever composted and it actually worked?
That's a good question. The weirdest thing I ever composted.
Outside of meat, because that was pretty rich, man.
A human placenta.
Oh.
Yeah. Planted a chestnut tree over one.
Really?
Yeah, and it's hard to get placentas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine that
takes 9 months to make one,
is that like black market or?
Yeah, black market placenta. That's probably too weird for YouTube, isn't it?
No. I'm gonna have to play with that one. Oh, so we had a talk with you in here about grocery row gardening. I love hearing that. I love your edible forest talks and everything else. Can you give us like a 2-minute synopsis of that whole talk? I want everything you said in there in 2 sentences.
Plant easy stuff.
Yeah.
In your backyard and take moderate care of it because it will beat inflation.
There you go.
That's pretty much it.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. All right.
However you're growing food, though, it's better than not growing food.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I don't get too stuck on one particular system. I love the grocery row gardening system.
Yeah.
It works really well for us. I like that insanity of a food forest, but a little bit of control and lots of edges, but nice walkways in between. It works really well.
Yeah.
But if somebody has a raised bed, they'll be like, oh, I see you don't use raised beds. Oh, no, I'm doing it wrong. I'm like, no, I mean, you're growing food. You're better. Like 98% of people are not growing their own food in the United States. So you're ahead of the curve. You're growing your own food.
Absolutely.
So as long as
Pandemic taught us that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm a pandemic gardener.
Yeah,
So,
if that pandemic could have kept going for another year or two, I would have been a millionaire. It just
Probably.
petered out, but it was crazy. It was like suddenly everybody's like, help us, help me. I'm like, whoa. It was really weird. We were overseas on lockdown.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, we were locked down, and I was watching the sales of my book, Grow or Die. Like, I had the best sales month I'd ever seen. I'm like, it's like thousands of dollars. Like, and then suddenly the printer seized up. Like, they stopped printing it, and so I made like $10,000 in 1 month. It was like my best month ever in all of
my
history. I was like, yes, and then that was it.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
my oldest son was stuck in Djibouti, stationed over there.
Oh my goodness.
And my preacher was stationed. Was he in Germany? I can't remember. He was stuck somewhere, stationed over there on his last assignment before he retired.
So weird.
That was wild.
Terrible. I don't want to live that again.
Yeah, no one does. No one
that
does.
wasn't-
Well, if you're going to be in the Atmore area, that's in southern Alabama,
That's
Panhandle, Florida, stop by David the Good's new farm store, Farm and Garden Center.
Yeah, Atmore Farm and Garden.
Atmore
in
Farm and Garden,
Atmore,
yep.
Alabama.
I've been there once.
It was fun.
You broke us. You know, we had a budget for that Hawaii trip, and we went to his store on the way home.
And that was it.
that was the end of the budget.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I've been collecting weird plants for years. I told my wife, I said, this is not really a responsible choice for me to buy more plants.
Yeah.
You know, owning a plant store when you're already a plant hoarder is just, but I mean, like Soviet pomegranates, the Soviet pomegranate breeding program. I got some of those. I got these
I saw the
Asian
name on there. That's interesting.
tree tomatoes, Asian pears.
I've heard a lot of
Just
people
been
talk
putting a lot
about
of
those
weird
tree
stuff.
tomatoes.
Yeah, they're
I'm
cool.
going to have to
They're
check
cool.
that. You talked about that in one of your recent videos. But, okay, well, brother,
Thank you, David.
appreciate you very
Appreciate it.
much. And
God
we're
bless
going to
you.
be heading up to your store here. Mrs. Bowtie was on the lives, and she's
Awesome.
all right, we're just going to have to go back.
Come on over.
She watches your videos from the store on the Facebook page.
We'll make a pot of
What's-
coffee and hang out.
What's the name of it on the Facebook page? It's Atmore
Farm and Garden.
Okay.
Yeah, Atmore Farm and Garden.
All right. Awesome, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You know, it's kind of funny how a short conversation at a place like that can follow you home and sit with you a while. Because now I'm out here looking at my garden, looking at my compost, and thinking a little differently than I was just this morning. And that's a good thing. Because there's one right way to do this, but because we're willing to learn, try, and grow along the way. And whether you agree with what he said, or you're sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm not doing that, you're still learning. If you want a place to share what you're trying, the experiments, the wins, even the, well, that didn't work moments, come join us at the Bowtie Bunch. It's a good group of folks trying to figure things out together. Because your garden doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be yours. Have a blessed day, friend.
Perfect, brother.